Hello and welcome back to our Method Weekly webinars. My name is Valvan Shabani and I will be presenting today week number 14, Troubleshooting and Frequently Asked Questions. As normal, a few housekeeping items before we start. Please continue to post questions to our Method Community Forum. The recording of this webinar will be posted as a comment with a blog entry for this particular week. You can always keep up to date with Method by subscribing to our RSS feeds. And finally, an early peek at next week's webinar will cover objects at level 1. Let's go ahead and get started with what we'll be discussing today: basic requirements, initial setup, setting up integration with QuickBooks, troubleshooting at both the Method integration engine level, the listener level, as well as Method push status. And then, of course, some frequently asked questions. Let's go ahead and get started with some basic requirements that you must meet in order to use Method. For the United States versions of QuickBooks, you will need to have QuickBooks Pro 2004 or later editions. For Canada, UK, or Australian editions, you will require 2008 or later. Method is a web-based platform, so you will require an internet connection and a browser. The two that are currently fully supported are Internet Explorer and Firefox, with others being supported in the future, although you can use them now at your own risk. And finally, we recommend 1 GB of RAM. When you first sign up for your Method account, you will receive your welcome email. Please read this email carefully as it contains important information, tips, and links to other resources from our website. You will notice a link to our login page, which we recommend you bookmark for easy access. And if we go into Method, once you log into your Method account, the email will indicate that you go to the QuickBooks tab under the Synchronize screen if you are not already there, and then click the link to show the installation steps. This is one of the first things that we'll be covering in this webinar. And here you can see the installation steps are 1 through 7. The first step in the installation process is to choose a computer that is rarely turned off and usually logged into QuickBooks with administrative permissions. In order to achieve true real-time synchronization, you'll want to use a computer that is rarely turned off. This way, Method and QuickBooks can continuously communicate. The QuickBooks administrative permissions are required for the initial setup only. Next, you will want to choose the correct QuickBooks company file to sync with. This is especially important since one Method account can only sync with one QuickBooks company file. In step 3, you will click the Install Now link from the instructions, and you'll be on your way to installing Method integration. Continue to follow the on-screen instructions, and you will begin to install the 3 components that make up the Method integration installation. These include a QBFC installation, the Method integration listener, and the Method integration engine. And I've taken some screenshots here as to some of the screens that you may see during the installation process. These are by no means in any particular order, but you will have to click on a series of confirmations to install, run, or finish the installations. So just follow the on-screen instructions for this portion. The fourth step, once this is done, you will want to enter your company account name, username, and password into the Method integration engine for QuickBooks. This is the same login information you use to get into your Method account. and then you'll want to click Connect. So if we were to open up the integration engine, you would enter in your login information here, company account, username, password, and then of course you would click Connect. In this case, I am already connected. Because you will have QuickBooks open during the installation, it will detect that method is trying to connect and access it. You will be prompted by QuickBooks to grant access to both the method listener and method engine. You should select Yes Always in order to prevent from having to repeat this each and every time you launch your QuickBooks company file. Then click Continue. Wait until the full synchronization process completes. Then you'll want to close and reopen QuickBooks on this computer. This is important because if you do not perform this step, the real-time synchronization may not occur. Finally, if there are other users or machines that have the QuickBooks application on them, you'll want to repeat these steps for those machines as well. This step will set the other computers to be on demand from desktop mode so that changes made in QuickBooks sync automatically to the web. And those are the 7 steps of the installation process. So how do we know that the installation worked? Well, there's a couple of things you can do to verify that the installation worked and it was successful. The tests verify that both the method integration engine and the method integration listener are installed and functioning correctly. So what we'll do is we'll go into method for this particular portion of it. And the 2 things that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make a change in QuickBooks, view the change in method, and then vice versa, make a change in method, view the change in QuickBooks. So if we were to go to QuickBooks and we were to perhaps make an adjustment to an existing customer, we will take Ben Stewart for example. You will see here that he does not have an alternate phone number. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add in an alternate phone number. And we'll use our local area code here, 416-555-0000, and we will click OK for Ben Stewart in QuickBooks. In Method, you'll want to go to the customer list, select Ben Stewart, and verify that the information you entered in QuickBooks has been transferred over to Method. The next thing that we will do is we will also make a change in Method and verify that the change has occurred in QuickBooks. So to do this, we can change this phone number to 555-123-1234 and click Save in Method. Then we will go to QuickBooks and we will notice that the change did in fact occur. There are a couple of issues that you may run into along the way in terms of the installation. A few of them are if you receive a message unable to install or run the app that requires assembly and you see the QBFC component in that message, what you will want to do is, depending on your version of Windows, you'll actually want to go to the Add Remove Programs. You'll want to look for the QBFC component, anything from versions 1.0 to 8.0. Remove this from your computer and then complete the installation for method integration from the start again. So on the machine, we would want to go to, again, depending on what version of Windows you have, look for the QBFC file. In this case, I have the latest version, version 8. We would want to remove it and then run the installation steps again. You'll also want to ensure that you have the latest version of Microsoft.NET Framework. And to do this, you can just simply do a Windows update. And you'll also want to verify and confirm that you are trying to install method integration with administrative permissions for the machine that you're trying to install it on. We'll continue with troubleshooting specifically for the method listener. The method integration listener is a tool that listens in real time to changes that occur in QuickBooks. It notifies the method integration engine to update the server. So there are a few steps that you can take to make sure that this component is working. Again, the first thing that you'll want to do is you want to verify that it is installed. So again, going back to Programs, Add Remove Programs in Windows, you will want to look for the method listener for use with QuickBooks. And we will see in this case that it is in fact installed. If it is not installed, perform a complete installation again by following the steps that we previously discussed. Verify that the method listener is integrated with QuickBooks. So to do this, we can go to QuickBooks itself, and we can go to Edit, Preferences. We'll want to go to Integrated Applications, hit the Company Preferences tab, and then notice here that we do see the Method Integration Engine Listener, and we do see the Allow Access is checked for this particular piece of the Method Integration Engine Listener installation. If it was not checked, you would simply make sure that the Allow Access was checked. And what you would do if it is not listed is you would ensure that you go to the integration engine, click Synchronize, Changes Only Synchronize. Once it's complete, close and reopen QuickBooks and check the integrated apps again. So we would go to the engine in the bottom right corner, Synchronize, Changes Only, Synchronization, and again you would close, reopen QuickBooks and check the integrated apps one more time. Verify the method listener is running, and then verify that it is sending changes to method integration engine. And there is a particular folder that we will be looking at, and again, depending on your version of Windows, you might be directed to a different path on the machine. But in this case, I am using a Vista machine, so we will go with that example. To verify that it is running, you can simply right-click on the bottom right corner, click the Task Manager, and you should again see method qb listen.exe would indicate that the method integration engine is in fact running. And to determine whether the changes are being sent to the integration engine, we can navigate to that particular folder. I am using Vista, so it will be Program Data Method Integration. And please note that if you don't see any files in this folder, or you don't see this folder, you will want to go to the control panel, folder options, and make sure that you are showing any hidden files and folders if you do not see anything. The first thing that we'll want to do is we will want to delete the file that describes the QuickBooks company file that we are using and associates with it. So in this particular case, I myself know that this is the file I'd want to delete, and it usually has the QuickBooks company file name in the name of the file. So we can delete it in this case. Ensure that the method integration engine is open and connected. So it is in fact open. It is connected. If it was not open, you can go to the Start menu of your Windows, Programs, Method, and then launch the method integration engine manually. What you will want to then do is go and make a change in QuickBooks. So again, we can click Ben Stewart, perhaps change the phone number that we had modified in the past. We'll want to go back to that folder and see if the file we deleted was recreated. If the file was recreated, open it and see if the change was picked up by the method integration engine. If the method integration engine is open and it is currently not synchronizing, my apologies, then and the log file is empty, everything is working as it should. So we can see here that there was a change in the engine. The log file was recreated, and if we open it, it is empty, which indicates everything is running as it should. If it was not empty, if it was not recreated, you may need to ensure there are sufficient permissions for the engine log folder. And to do this, right-click on the folder. So within the folder, click Properties, go to the Security tab, and add permissions such that all users have full control, and click OK. So we do see here that full control is enabled. We do not need to make the change in this case. And if the steps above succeeded, the method integration listener is working as it should. We'll continue with troubleshooting the method engine. There are again a few steps that are very similar to troubleshooting the listener. The method integration engine is the main synchronization tool that shuttles changes back and forth between QuickBooks and the web server. So one of the first things we can do to verify is take a look and see if the method engine and QBFC are installed. To do this, we can go into Add Remove Programs, and we can look for the method integration engine for use with QuickBooks. We will see here that it is in fact installed. And we will also look for the QBFC file, which is also installed. Verify method engine is integrated with QuickBooks. Again, very similar to the listener. In QuickBooks, Edit, Preferences, Integrated Applications, Company Preferences, and you will see here that the integration engine is in fact listed and it does allow access. And verify error-free synchronization is one of the last troubleshootings we can do for the engine. And what you will want to do is you will want to ensure that you are logged into QuickBooks as the administrator if it is the first time for synchronization. If you are a Vista user such as myself, You'll also want to make sure that a feature called UAC is turned on. And this is a security feature in Vista. And to do this, what you can do is you can actually go to the control panel and you can just type in UAC in the search. My apologies. Let's go to the main control panel, UAC, and you will see here that user account control, and you have the ability to turn it on or off. If you are a Vista user, please ensure that it is on if it was off. And note that you may need administrative permissions to change this feature on the local machine. You'll want to save the changes if it wasn't on, turn it to on, save the changes, and restart your computer to be sure. The next step you'll want to take with QuickBooks Open the Method Integration Engine, and you'll click Synchronize Changes Only Sync. So we will, down here at the bottom right, the little N, open the engine, do a Synchronize and Changes Only Sync. When the synchronization completes, you'll want to check the activity area and scroll down to see if there are any messages that start with error. And in this particular case, we do not see that, but we see different messages. As a warning, the Method Integration Engine is smart enough in this case to detect that there is a dialog box open in QuickBooks, which I had purposely left open to demonstrate. What you'll want to do is you'll want to close this dialog box, and this was when we were checking the integrated applications. So now there's no dialog boxes open in QuickBooks. And then we can try it one more time, and you will see that it is completing the changes only sync. If you receive a message that reads an internal error has occurred, it is likely that it may be an issue with QuickBooks or a corruption in your QuickBooks company file. There are steps that you can take to verify and check this, and perhaps even correct it. The first thing you'll want to do is you'll want to check for updates in QuickBooks under the Help, Update QuickBooks. If there are any updates, please download and install them, restart your computer, and try the synchronization again. Additionally, there are features in QuickBooks under File, Utilities. You can verify the data, and you can also rebuild the data. After the process completes, try to synchronize again. What you'll want to do is you'll want to research these two options more within the QuickBooks Help, or do a simple internet search to find out how you can complete these steps. Troubleshooting the method push. Method push is a technology that allows changes made in method to sync real-time back to QuickBooks. In order for this to occur, the Method Integration Engine initiates what is called the TCP IP connection to the server. If your IT manager has blocked outgoing TCP IP connections, maybe they have lots of ports on your network, maybe there is a firewall or antivirus that is blocking some of these ports, you will receive messages that indicate there is connection failure. There are a few things that you can do to verify. If the status says connection failure instead of connected or not connected, there's an issue with the outgoing TCP IP connection. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to open the integration engine, and in this case you will see that I am connected. There may be situations where you are not connected, which is perfectly normal in some situations, but you do not want to see connection failure. If you do, hover your mouse over the connection failure message to get some more information. And you'll also want to verify a couple of things in terms of your internet high-speed connection. You want to check to ensure that there's no antivirus or firewall settings that are interfering with the outgoing connection. And for these things, you can check them yourselves or check with the computer administrator or IT manager. And finally, we'll move on to frequently asked questions, dealing with installation and your Method account. One of the first questions is, what version of QuickBooks do I need to use Method? Something that we answered earlier on in the webinar. And for US versions of QuickBooks, Pro 2004 or higher. For Canadian versions, UK versions, and Australian versions, you would require 2008 or higher. Does QuickBooks need to be open in order to use Method? You can still use Method to access and modify information even if QuickBooks is closed. Any changes will be synchronized with QuickBooks next time it is opened on the main syncing computer. If you want to take advantage of Method's real-time syncing, QuickBooks must be open and be open to the correct company file. So you can still access the information, you can still enter in new customers, new invoices, but they will obviously not appear in QuickBooks until the next time the QuickBooks company file is open and the Method integration engine launches with it and performs a changes only sync. Why can't I do a changes only on computers other than the main computer? Limiting changes only and full synchronization to a single computer eliminates the possibility of two computers synchronizing the same data between QuickBooks and the server at the same time. Not only that, but it reduces your network traffic, the number of requests made to QuickBooks, bandwidth between your network and the server, as well as it prevents database records from being edited by multiple synchronizations at the same time. So there are very valid reasons why this is not allowed. How do I change the computer I use as the main syncing computer? There are ways to do this. First, you'll want to confirm you have the correct company file open in QuickBooks. In Method, click the QuickBooks tab. So we'll go to Method, click the QuickBooks tab. Under the Edit Synchronization Preferences section, click Reset beside Computer to Sync with. So you'll see down here that we have an area for computer to sync with, which will list the computer name I am currently syncing as my main computer. We can simply reset this. On the new computer that you want to indicate as the main syncing computer, if the Method integration engine is not installed, install it and run a full synchronization being logged into Method on that computer. How do I reset my account and use a different QuickBooks file? The answer to this is you can't. Once you sync a QuickBooks company file to your Method account, the two are bound together. You cannot reuse a Method account with a different QuickBooks company file. This will cause a lot of data conflicts and inconsistencies. When we mention data and inconsistencies, there is also an area in Method under the QuickBooks tab for you to resolve any conflicts that may occur from time to time. You will see here I have left one as an example. this is a conflict that has occurred, and rather than method deciding what to do with this information, it will allow you, the user, to make the decision whether to keep this particular piece of information or delete it permanently. And you can see there will be some information for you to make that decision. So what happens if I rename my QuickBooks file but otherwise it is the same? Well, just as you can reset the main computer to sync with, you can do the same in this situation. Again, in Method, go to the QuickBooks tab, the Synchronize screen, confirm you have the correct QuickBooks company file open, and what you'll want to do is you will want to reset the QuickBooks company file that you are syncing with. Open the Method Integration Engine and perform a full synchronization when you are complete. And that does complete this webinar on troubleshooting installation and frequently asked questions. The webinar will be available on the website as mentioned as a comment under the original blog entry for this particular webinar. And next week, week 15, we will cover objects at level 1. Thank you for attending and enjoy the rest of your day.